broadcast. Oh yeah, I know Peter tends to have an easier time getting starting at 8:30, so that might be, we might not see him for another 15 minutes. But in the meantime, we'll go with our one part of our pairs of duos with Elmorn and Peitri. But before we get started with that, does anybody want to give a recap from last session?
Let me go grab it.
Last session. Let me check my notes. So when did we come back? We ended up just arriving back at McCormick's Folly. I'm guessing that was that part, wasn't it? And then we had our interview. I'm pretty sure that's where it started.
We were heading back to Ironside. They're potentially traitors within the Sentinel Marshals. Brevin knows this. We were talking with his brother York for some time. Brevin was very grateful that we were helping, that we saved his family. And York was very upset with the traitors within the Sentinel Marshals, none of which we've actually, at least we've knowingly met yet. I lost an ear from both the game before. We discovered that we found out a clue we learned about the Emerald Claw, which is the organization that seems to be in conjunction with the Blood of Bull. And they were part of a war, the war, the Great War. They were like a big thing in Karnak.
Mm-hmm.
So found out about them, and basically we ended the game where we decided we were going to help Brevin, and we were splitting the party, which is the pretext for all things good. And what's his name? Kolmar and Martha were heading to Gronk's house now that he's dead to see if there's any information they could dig up about the coming and what's going on, while Peitri and Elmorn are heading to Stenson's. And some of this has happened in email, so you guys probably want to do a recap on your parts of what's occurred so far.
So I guess there was a little bit of banter along the way, and we were about to kick down the door when Elmorn opened the door, and Peitri got very upset. But anyways, we walk into a dark room, and we see Father Stenson hanging from the for what we can assume is the center of the room, with a cord around his neck, with all the lights and everything dulled and dimmed down. So what we do is we try and grab Father Stenson and cut down the cord. And he's told us.
First he like jolted. We thought he was dead.
We thought he was dead. Yeah. Then he jolted. So he ran over and took him off, and plopped him on the ground and healed him up to a fairly good level. And we asked him what happened, and he said the cultists put him up there and left a note for him and everything. And I think that's as far as we got. We're just walking around doing stuff.
Yeah, so the one part that was left out was you mentioned Flamekeeper Stenson had mentioned that it was the blood of all cultists that did it, trying to make it look like a suicide because either they were able to use scrying or some kind of divination magic or something where they discovered that the cultist that Elmorn killed. Sorry, guys. 1 second. This is the Toa Company.
Oh yeah, so that one of the people in the flock might have been sitting in and listening and found out that the ashes or the body we killed was found by one of them.
Yeah, and so actually, and so that's when Flamekeeper Stenson really began believe that the cultists were actually a threat, because at least one of the cultists was somebody that regularly participates in the weekly services that Stenson puts together. And then Peitri mentioned something about a vampire, and Flamekeeper Stenson was like, "Really? A vampire? Are you sure?" And he didn't believe that vampires existed. But he's a little bit more willing to take your guys' word for it after, saving his life. And then the one other thing was the presence of all 12 moons in the night sky being full.
Yes. Which is an event that we haven't seen in our knowing time.
Yeah, it's something that, for all intents and purposes, has never happened. And the moons, Marthau, you would know this. The moons are significant because they have some connection to various planes and manifest zones. And typically when one moon in the sky is full, or when another moon in the sky is waning, or a new moon, it's representative or connected in some way to effects of planes and magic.
Gotcha.
Usually they're small effects, but there are times when the effects are more significant, and this is likely one of those instances. At the very least, because a lot of magic is somewhat based on symbolism, as well as intent, and belief. And so with enough of that, something like this can be used to empower magic of various kinds.
Gotcha.
So, with that said, Elmorn and Peitri are in the local church of the Silver Flame. Flamekeeper Stenson is looking at you guys and saying, "Wait, a vampire? Are you sure?" And his voice is kind of croaked, so he's more like, a vampire? Are you sure?"
He's a pirate. Pirate Stenson. Well, duh. They're a blood cult.
It would make sense, but I thought that vampires didn't exist, or at least had been wiped out.
The paladins aren't. We were too busy with the lichens. The vampires got away from us, but they're still around.
You speak as if you were a part of the crusade, Peitri.
I wish I was.
Anyways, you came here seeking a weapon for a vampire?
Yes, possibly a hand grenade, if you've got a spare.
You're more likely to find something like that in the barracks of Korth. No, the only thing that I could possibly give you that might be of some help is holy water. I've heard that holy water can have effects on creatures of darkness, such as vampires. And there's also, my understanding is running water may be able to help because it's supposed to be the essence of life, and running water is the manifestation of that. And so as a result, vampires, from what I recall of the lore, they cannot touch or cross running water because it's anathema to their very existence.
Peitri gets upset that there's no hand grenade, and he starts walking around pacing around the building, and he starts like shuffling like behind like the counters and stuff like that, looking for stuff. He's like, holy water, this is so boring.
Peitri, we are not at Flamekeep. This is not Thrain. The church has very little influence here in Karnath. There's not going to be the artifacts of power that you might see at those other more well-established churches. This is more of a ministry or mission. The people of Karnath, they've been wounded too greatly by our country to be willing to accept us very readily.
Well, do you have any friends which might have some grand weapons for us?
I could possibly get word out to Flamekeep, but it would take time.
Yes, I understand this. Well, how much holy water have you got? You better have a stockpile ready.
He motions to the a large bowl next to the pews that probably holds a couple of gallons, and he says, "You're welcome to as much as you can carry. I'm also willing to bless more if you need it."
Oh man. Okay, Peitri says begrudgingly.
I'm sorry, I can't offer more.
What did you say the water was in?
It's like a large bowl. It's kind of placed similarly to like in a Catholic church, how they have the holy water that's kind of there for you to dunk your hands in and bless yourself or whatever.
You better get yourself more well equipped, Stenson, just in case this stuff happens again.
How are we to expect something like this would happen in a backwaters city such as Ironside?
Well, we're here.
Yes, but thankfully it wasn't always the case that trouble would brew wherever you guys would be.
Do we even have anything to carry this water?
Not a clue.
What's up?
I was just saying, do we even have anything to carry this water in?
I mean,
I
Flamekeeper
don't know,
Stenson
carry a
can
big
provide
bowl.
you with some water skins if you need it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do they smell like wine?
No, they are they smell of ripe leather.
Okay, well, I request one water skin for myself and fill it up with holy water.
Okay.
I want my belt filled with holy water. So as many as I can fit in my belt, I'll take.
Okay. We'll say you can get 3.
Alright, 3 will do.
Each of them roughly hold about a gallon or so. Well, probably close to half a gallon.
I was going to say a gallon. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Half a gallon's a lot too, man. That's this. It's bigger than my
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can
Well,
carry that.
I think that's probably what it would be.
All right. You gonna have 3 of those?
Yeah, I'm geared up. I'm gonna throw them like grenades.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Stenson. Don't find yourself hanging about.
He just doesn't even respond. He just kind of shakes his head and says,
So does Elmorn.
"Boy, I hope the light of the silver flame shines the path and brightens the path for you, because you sure as shit aren't gonna find it on your own."
The other two would have liked that joke so much better. And I just walk away upset. How about you, Egg? Do you like that joke?
Egg does whatever I do, man. I should know.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, Dustin, there was a Deadpool moment with Elmorn because they were waiting for me to respond.
For me to respond?
No, for me with their buddy cop scenario. And so Elmorn was looking at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, being like, "All right, DM, are we going?" And then when I started it up, I had Egg slap Elmorn and point back to the action.
That's pretty good.
I mean, that
All right.
wall isn't going to break itself, you know.
True. All right, so with that, so you guys got probably about 2 gallons total of holy water.
Mhm.
And you got some information that may or may not be useful in terms of the effects of running water on vampires. But once again, Flamekeeper Stenson didn't even know that they exist. So it may be fair to say that knowledge of vampires is not very widely known or accepted even. But Peitri is absolutely positive that he saw a vampire.
I'm certain. Even though I don't know much about him, I know it was one.
All right, so what are you guys doing from there?
Well, we plan to meet back at McCormick's, didn't we? With the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or were we
Yeah.
gonna follow them through to the basement? I mean, to what's name's house?
I would go back to McCormick's Folly if I'm in character.
Yeah,
But I don't know what Peitri would do.
yeah. I think Peitri would go back to McCormick's as well. Yeah.
All right. If Peitri didn't, I imagine Elmorn would grab Peitri by the scruff.
It just made me go back. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where Peter is. I haven't heard anything from him. I tried to email him to see if he was going to be able to make it. I haven't gotten a response.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure he'll come as soon as he can, or the other way.
All right. Do you want to maybe fill in Elmorn and Peitri about what's been going on at Gronk's?
I can. So we got to Gronk's, and there was a click as we were trying to open the front door, and the knob refused to turn. And it turns out that there's an arcane. We both kind of felt out, and there's an arcane lock around the. There was a lock around the property and the premise.
Huh. Sorry.
Plus, even though Gronk wasn't a magic user, we kind of concluded maybe he picked something up from the cultists, or at least some item. So Martha thought that perhaps there's a secret password, and knowing Gronk well enough, he proclaimed stone piss at the front door, which did not work. That was not the password. We did a perimeter. Both Colmar and Martha did a perimeter of the grounds, and when we, after some exasperation, Martha hit the side of the wall, or hit the wall on the side of the house, and it kind of grew to an orange. There was like a yellow, like ochre hue, and you could see the shield, the shield, and it had like veins in it, so it's alive, which isn't too surprising considering we're dealing with blood cultists. Of course, they would have something that's alive. So prior to that, Colmar met with some of his contacts and informed them what was happening with what happened with Brevon's family, and to let them know that Peitri was needing some healing, to see if they could help out. Just kind of keeping them up to speed on things. Colmar, since we determined that it was living, Colmar thought of a good idea where he found a log in the back of the cabin area and cut his hand, and he was able to part the living spell right near the window. So Martha climbed into the window to break through, and broke through the shell with only a minor amount of resistance. The inside of Gronk's house smells. It smells just as you'd expect it would. There's overturned cups and empty jugs of ale everywhere, and crumbs from questionable sources. It looks worse than Horsehead Inn. So it's pretty awful. Martha was able to catch a gleam thanks to some moonlight through the window, and there was a glimmer on the floor, and he walks over to it and steps on a mat, and the mat is soaked with blood. Martha was nauseous. remembering the blood ritual that he was a part of, unfortunately. After moving the mat, it appears there's a door underneath it. And, so Martha informed Komar, and there was this action scene where Martha threw the blood-soaked mat towards Komar, and as soon as it hit the ground and went through the lining, Komar jumped through the window and vaulted into the house. And he almost got pulled back by the living spell, but Martha grabbed him and hugged him and pulled him in the rest of the way. So now that's where we left off. Is now we're both in the house and we're not sure we can get out yet. And, that we have this trap door that was covered by a blood-soaked mat.
Yep.
Fun.
So Colmar walks over to Martha and is like, all right, so where's this trap door?
It's here on the floor. It's a little hard to see, but you can kind of make it out in through the blood smears.
Oh, I see. Have you tried opening it yet?
My dear chap, I haven't. I have an aversion to opening trapdoors, especially ones on the floor. So I was calling to you, hopefully that we could tackle this thing together in case we might meet something unpleasant.
All right. Well, just give me a couple of seconds. I'll let me check this thing out. So Komar is going to be looking around and trying to see what he can see about the door, if there's any potential traps or any other mechanisms or perhaps even spell work that might be there. And he is able to pick out a couple of things. There is, although it looks like a normal part of the floor, one of the floorboards near the edge is loose and actually can be pulled up and reveals a regular lock. And he also he's using his senses of magic to kind of feel out what kind of arcane sort of traps or preventative measures may have been placed within. And he actually doesn't find any. So he looks up at Martha and he says, well, it seems like whatever Gronk was hiding back down under this blood-soaked rug doesn't seem that he needed any magic to secure it like he did the rest of the house. Probably was just hoping that nobody would see it.
Possibly.
But then that does beg the question, why was the rug soaked in blood? And whose blood was it?
Yes, it's I don't profess a great knowledge about these blood cultists and kind of their rituals, but I have some imagination. I imagine that having a thing soaked in blood sitting on top of a doorway might be a warden within itself for these for them. So.
Yeah. Or who knows? I mean, Gronk might have just slaughtered a pig and cooked it up right here in his place. Anyways,
shall we crack it open?
Yeah, let me bring out my tools and see what we can do here. So Martha pulls out his thieves' tools. And let's see.
Excuse me.
So he's fidgeting around, sliding the picks in and trying to manipulate the tumblers within the lock. And then he hears the click, and he attempts to lift the trap door. But although it does give, it is quite heavy. So he looks over at Martha and he's like, "Hey, you want to give me a hand?"
Yeah, I reach over and put my hands under and work. When we lift it, we throw it open.
Yeah, and so it is quite heavy. Underneath, you can see that it was reinforced with steel bars under the wood in a network of kind of, and you can see like the way that the lock was made. So it seems, based on this, not only could potentially have kept somebody out, but also might have kept something from getting out.
Yes.
And of course, there are stairs that lead into pitch blackness underneath the house.
Of course.
Komar, without a word, just starts heading down. And then he looks back at Martha and says, "You coming?"
I'm right behind you. And I cast a mirror image on myself. So now there's 3 Marthals, or actually 4 Marthals coming down the stairs.
Nice. And that's it's a level 1 spell, right? Or level 2?
Level 2.
Alrighty. All right, so you guys begin heading down, and Martha, that's when you realize that it's way too dark for you to see.
Komar, can you see? I know your dwarven eyes handle this a little bit better than mine do.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that with you humans. Yeah, give me a second. I'll light my hooded lamp. So you can hear him fiddling about in the darkness, opening up this lamp, and then he shines a light. And what you see is it's pretty disturbing. It almost takes you back to Fort Deep Dark because of the way that there are the manacles in the wall, and there are bodies of people who are in various stages of decay, sliced up pretty bad. At least 4 people that are kind of hanging by these manacles on the wall. Similarly to, and then you suddenly remember Garrett, the half-headed person from
Yes.
your tales.
Do the 4 bodies on the wall look alive?
No, none of them are alive, and they're so. One of them is pretty clearly disemboweled, and his entrails are actually in a bucket next to him. Another person has had their heart removed and is on a table next to them. Another individual had his brain removed, as well as his eyes, and that's in on like a stool next to that person. And then the final person is actually hanging to the wall by their neck and has had each of their 4 limbs removed.
Komai, I can't believe this is in Gronk's basement. This is not the Gronk that we knew.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting.
This is very reminiscent of, reminds me of Fort Deep Dark.
Oh, you too?
Yeah. I wonder if this has been here for a while. And do you recall if Gronk has lived here for some time, or if he's recently moved here?
Well, now we can bring Peter up to speed and let him answer that. How you doing, Peter?
He's like, fuck that, I'm out.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries.
I
So
caught something about somebody's heart removed, and there was pieces in buckets, and
yeah, so basically, you and Martha opened up the trapdoor.
Okay.
There was nothing magical about the trapdoor, and you were able to use your investigation skills to find like a hidden lock under one of the floorboards on the edge of the door, like the outline of it.
okay.
And so you remove that, and then you use your lockpick set to open it up. And it was a really heavy door that both you and Martha had to lift together. And underneath, you saw it was reinforced with steel bars and a pretty elaborate lock mechanism. So really good at keeping things out, but also keeping whatever might be inside from getting out. And then when you guys went down there, it was pretty dark, and you had to use your hooded lantern to allow Martha to get a view of what was down there. And what you see is a room with 4 bodies strapped up to the walls.
Okay.
One of them has their entrails all removed and in a bucket beside them. Another person has had their brain and eyes removed, which is sitting on a table next to them. Another person had actually the heart was removed on the table, and then the brain and eyes were removed and placed on a stool next to that person. And then the final person is hanging to the wall, manacled by their neck, and they had their 4 limbs removed and placed underneath the body, kind of roughly where the arms and legs would go.
All right. Good stuff.
Oh,
And so it kind of reminds you a little bit of Fort Deep Dark, and you kind of get flashes of Garrett, the half-headed person that was nailed to the wall in Fort Deep Dark.
Kolmar, do you recall how long Gronk has been living in this house? I remember.
At least 3 or 4 years.
Hmm.
So I can remember. So.
Interesting.
So if I examine these cuts and how these bodies have been dismembered, does it look like somebody who knows what they're doing, or is it looks like a hack job, or what? Is this carefully crafted?
No, it's amateur hour through and through.
All right. So that's rather disappointing. But it probably means it's probably Gronk. I guess this was the thing that he was into.
This is not the Gronk that I thought we knew. Apparently he's living a triple life.
Yeah, he was. Is there much more to this down this like cellar area than just these bodies? If we search around, I want to get surprised.
You can give me a investigation check.
All right.
Martha, if you want to give me one too.
Let's see. 17 on the die and plus 9, 26.
Mine's pretty good too. Not that good. Go with it.
Those look like story dice. There been no damn mind flare heads that came up. That's all I'm saying.
So you do see a couple of personal effects from these victims. For the most part, they've been stripped naked and their possessions have been removed, but there are a couple of things that still are in the room, such as a cane that was kind of hidden and off in a corner, and what looks to be some kind of gnomish pocket watch.
Oh, God.
And that's about it.
Okay. I pick up the pocket watch and mess with it. Does anything happen?
Describe how you mess with it.
I try to adjust the time on it.
Okay.
I had a dream once. I'm seeing if something happens.
Adjusting the time doesn't do anything and seems to be still functional and keeping time well.
Okay.
If you want to look over more closely, though, you can give me another investigation check on it.
Sure, I will do that. And let's see, it's time to burn some inspiration. Action point. So let's see. I'm not going to take a 1. 15.
Total?
Yeah.
So the thing that adjusts the time doesn't just adjust the time, but it also seems to be a button that you could push.
What's my understanding of pocket watches? Does this look like a standard button, or does this look like it's added on?
Well, it's definitely a gnomish design,
Yeah,
so it could be anything.
All right. So I warned Marthal that there's a button on this pocket watch. I'm going to go ahead and press it.
And I just look at you and I say, nope, okay. Go ahead and I'll be here.
All right.
So you press it, and suddenly it begins to like open up and transform. The gears all moving around, kind of transformer-like.
Okay.
And it transforms into like a kind of a little homunculus type thing. And then it starts looking around the room, and then it tries to dart over into an area of the room, and then it looks like its hand is actually like a broom, and the other one is like a dustpan, and it starts sweeping things up.
That is a peculiar pocket watch.
Yes. I think Charles would appreciate this.
I'm sure he could use the help.
Suddenly you remember Charles, and you begin to grow worried because it has been quite a while.
I've always been worried about Charles.
Is he hanging on the walls?
Yeah, do I recognize any of the corpses in the room?
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't. Yeah, I worry about Charles. And I'm kind of talking to myself. Perhaps I should check in to see how Charles is doing prior to us heading out to our next adventure.
Probably be a good idea. What can I discern from these bodies as apart from they've been dismembered? They look like common people, or
yeah, there's not anything particularly special about them. Give me a medicine check.
oh, the medicine. Oh, -1. 14 total.
All right, that's good enough. You can tell that each one of them is human, with the exception of the one who had their brain and eyes removed. That one is an elf.
Okay.
I walk over to the one that's has their heart missing, and kind of peer in. Do I see anything interesting about it, or is it just missing a heart?
I mean, it does look like this person may have been tortured as well. Like the incisions are not just along the chest. There's some superficial cutting all over the body. The one, but only the one that had its heart removed. That's the only one that looks like there's any kind of torture associated with it.
Was there a bucket? I don't remember. Was there a bucket next to the one with the heart removed?
No, that was with the entrails.
Okay, the heart is just sitting on the stool.
The heart is on the table.
Is the heart still beating?
Mm-mm.
I pick it up and give it a good squish.
It squishes exactly as you would expect a disembodied heart to squish.
I see Marthau do this and ask him, "What are you doing?"
They must have taken this heart out for a reason. I was just seeing if there was anything special about this particular heart.
Well, I just didn't want to be left out, so I touched the heart too.
It's appropriately squishy.
Okay, good.
Look around and kind of do a general surveillance of the room. Besides the disembodied bodies and the personal effects and this now gizmo thing sweeping on the floor. Is there like any kind of storage closets, or is there like a table with tools on it, or it's just there's bodies?
No tools. Yeah, it's pretty much this was whatever Gronk was into. It was really freaky, and may not have necessarily been scientific or academic or anything like that in nature. Although some things strike you as strange, as why would the only tortured one be the one that has its heart removed? Why are they all human except for the elf who had its brain and eyes removed? Things like that.
The one that has heart removed, if I look in, does it look like there's anything else missing?
As far as you can tell, everything that should be there is.
Is this true with the other bodies as well? Whatever's missing is on the appropriate receptacle next to it?
Yep. Nothing else has been taken.
Well, Kumar, I'm disappointed. I thought Gronk was a better person than this. I'm just glad we killed that bastard.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
I would have killed him again if I could.
I think you're going to get plenty of chance to do some killing. I checked the cane and some of these personal effects to see if we can ID these people. If there's anything that gives us any idea who they are.
The cane does have in it that could potentially be like a family crest.
Okay.
Or something of that nature. It has. It looks like an arrowhawk, which is a four-winged giant avian creature. That appears to be within a circle, and the circle has several, like a triangle at the top and a triangle at the bottom.
Okay.
Considering that the pocket watch is of gnomish design, it's fair to say that it was either a gift or it was purchased by one of the people in the room.
Right.
Something like that probably would cost quite a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And so it may be that either one of these individuals is higher class or perhaps even nobility.
Well, I'm a bit at a loss here. I was hoping there would be something. I'm not sure what to make of these and how these particularly relate to the blood cult, other than that they're here and dismembered.
Well, this is similar to what the creature did when we were in Fort Deep Dark, dismembered the bodies and put them together. So this could be some kind of piece to that. This could be some kind of teaching that's worked its way down. I don't know.
I forgot about that creature. Rather, I repressed the memory of that creature. Ugh. This was disturbing.
Yes. So as far as the bodies, we got one that's has no heart, but it's got arms and legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I look at Martha. I said, "Do you know this person?"
I do not know anybody in this room, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, we may need an escape route, and if we don't, and if we can manage to get out, then I have a surprise for them. So I carefully try to pocket the heart somehow. If I've got some way to wrap it up, I'm going to take it with me, and I'm going to bring that dude without a heart back to life.
Okay. So through your necromantic magics, you instill unlife into this corpse, and it looks to you with a gaze questioning what your orders are.
All right. Let's see. This is number 6. All right. I just said, well, and I think we should collect these personal effects and see if we can figure out who these people are. I would say we should burn this place to the ground, but I don't know. That didn't go too well last time we did that.
Also, Gronk's house, it's close enough to others that burning it down would risk the other homes catching on fire.
Right. That unless they are the people that were occupying those others, and he's dismembered them.
Colmar, when you bring somebody back, as this heartless fellow here now proves, do they retain any memories of their previous occupations?
You know, I've asked in the past, but I don't seem to get anything. But you could always ask them.
Good sir, my heartless friend, what's your name?
It just continues to stand, kind of swaying on its feet, almost looking at Colmar.
Can you order it to tell you its name?
Can you tell us your name? Okay. Well, we are getting somewhere. Usually,
Clearly, his vocals are gone. Perhaps they can still write and communicate in penmanship form. There's a bucket. There's the bucket of organs. Perhaps they can use it to write on the wall.
I do have a utensil. We don't have to use the bucket of organs. I do have some chalk. So I hand him some chalk and see if he can write.
So he looks at the chalk that you
No, don't
placed
eat it.
in his hand. so he's like holding the chalk and he's like,
Your name?
wait, what'd you say?
Your name?
And it just continues to kind of hold the chalk.
Well, I take the chalk back.
It was worth a shot.
Well, if he does, if we don't have to sacrifice him to get him out of here, use him as a sacrifice to get out of here, then I've got a plan for him. Maybe he can get some revenge in his after death.
Yes. This was most appropriate. Shall
So
we?
how much? Oh, sorry. You go.
Just say, shall we depart this wretched basement?
I was wondering how much time was passed in the game by the time we returned back to the keep or McCormick's Folly.
So you guys are going to return approximately the same time as
Oh, cool.
Colmar and Marthau. So we just kind of handled your guys' thing already.
Nice.
By the way, do you guys want to like let Peter know what happened with your guys' situation?
We'll tell him on the road.
Okay.
Colmar, all you need to know is that we requisitioned some holy water.
Okay.
And I point to Petri's belt. He's got 3 half-gallons of holy water on his belt.
3.5 gallons. Oh boy.
I've got 1, but he's got 3. So we have exactly 4, just enough for everybody.
Although I think
Just to really
Petri is
share
not
that
in the mindset of sharing.
Yeah.
So we climb up out of the stairs, up the stairs to get back into the main room.
Okay. So you guys are back in the main room.
Is there any? I'll look around. Is there anything that perhaps I didn't notice on the first time in? Now that we've spent a little bit of time here.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, one thing that may make more sense is the rug. He may have, like, Gronk may have been, it may have been bloody because Gronk was using it to soak up the blood of the victims in the basement. But in terms of anything else that may have been, like, in the main room or in the house or whatever, you can give me an investigation check.
Alrighty. And that's a solid 6.
Just a whole more lot of filth.
Oh, great.
Colmar, you want to give me a check?
Sure. Everybody's doing it. 21.
So you're able to find Gronkuski's cultist mask, as well as some ceremonial robes that seem to perhaps that look a lot like the robes that people were wearing around the camp in the demiplane.
So we did find his mask?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I remember putting it on last time and how bad it smelled. So I'm going to remember that and not put it on this time.
probably a wise choice.
Okay, and we're going to take those robes too.
Yeah. Was there anything else in particular that you were looking for or thought you might find here in Gronkuski's?
I was hoping that there perhaps would be a letter or something of a journal of sorts that might indicate some status of what was going down with the coming, or maybe pointing out Gronkuski's excitement for it.
You know what? Actually, yes, you do find a journal. And as you flip through it, many of the journal entries seem to be focused on Gronkuski's grief regarding the family that he lost during the last war, and all of his loved ones that he couldn't save, and his guilt and his self-loathing for not being strong enough to have been able to protect them. And then towards the end, the writings become a little bit more manic, a little bit wilder, with sketches that don't really seem to make any sense, don't necessarily seem to be of anything. The writings become more like scrawlings, excited, talking about opportunities to become stronger, opportunities to find peace, and even potential opportunities to reunite with his past loved ones.
Are there any letters or correspondence with anyone in particular in town? Like, I mean, I'm imagining just like piles of garbage and just miscellaneous and items, and he's just extremely disorganized. Is there anything that maybe strikes as like a letter from, I wouldn't say just like Joe Schmo, like somebody who maybe ran a shop or something, and more than just like a letter, like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, like you owe this money maybe, or hey, come meet me, or something that would be, I guess I'm trying to find other people that are involved in the blood of all, and maybe, I mean, they wouldn't just come out and say it.
Right.
I don't think they sent out a newsletter and said, hey, welcome our new members, Bob and Joe. Come to the meeting, and, bring your pound cake this week, because make sure you got a heart on top of it.
Potluck at Lake Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, nothing like letters or correspondence or anything like that. However, they were using to recruit or communicate, it seems that was more than likely magical in nature, given the extensive amount of power that you've been able to see from whoever might be pulling the strings or running the show. Mm-hmm. And given the fact that they have that secret meeting place, any kind of news or information or that needed to be disseminated was probably done in person over there to reduce risk of being caught for similar reasons. Because if police raided a potential house, that would be something that would be expected to be found.
Yeah.
And these guys are nothing if not smart to cover their tracks.
Okay.
Is there anything inside now that we're inside the living spell, that we can sense where this thing like emanates from, like an artifact or some beacon of power, I guess, of magic.
So yeah, when you go into Gronkuski's bedroom, you do see something that's kind of like as you look around this entire place, you see you finally toss over the bed and look under the bed, and that's where you see this kind of quivering mound of blood red jelly that is pulsating with this light, and also similar to a heartbeat, and when you which corresponds with the nerve-like threads of pulsating ochre energy that you were seeing when you initially triggered the barrier.
I shoot a firebolt at it.
Okay. Describe what happens.
I see this pulsating thing. I've thrown the bed up. I'm disgusted by it, but I recognize that this might be the link that's binding this shield. So I just kind of a fireball in my hand grows and then shoots out fairly quick at the goo. I mean, does it die or what does it do?
You decide what happens. I'm gonna let you tell what happens, because you kind of came up with how that energy barrier looked and functioned. So I'm gonna let you figure out.
Okay. The fireball makes contact with the mound of placenta looking thing. And it catches fire, which is interesting to Martha because they didn't think it would be flammable, but it is. And all around the house, the ochre veins start to show up again, but this time there's fire running through them, and they burn bright, almost blindingly so, all around the inside of the house, and then it begins to die, and it corresponds with the placenta just being gone. After it's the last of it burns up, Marthal reaches out with his magical senses again and doesn't sense the presence of a magical barrier anymore.
Okay, so you hear Colmar coming up from down below. I went back down into the basement, huffing and puffing, coming up the stairs, carrying the bucket of entrails. And by the time I get up to the top there, I'm out of breath. And then I hear a noise, and then I look in, and I see this thing like burning up, and I was like, what the hell happened?
This is the shield. It's gone. I took care of it.
Oh well. Wish I'd known that before I carried this bucket up here. What did it look like? You'll have to describe it to me later. I'm very...
It was gross looking, but
Well,
I mean, at least you're getting a little bit of exercise. That bucket is a good weight training.
Yeah, that's. I don't care for that. I've had enough already today. Is there any pieces left of this thing that he's burned up?
Yes. Small. You find one small piece that still kind of quivers a little bit.
Okay, so I try to contain my excitement, and then I go over and grab some of Gronk's nasty paperwork, and I grab it and like fold it up in there, pocket it.
Okay.
Good work, Martha.
All of his work. Will your heartless friend attract unwanted attention as we leave?
No, he'll be fine.
That person is naked with a hole in their chest.
Well, you know, it could be some festival. I don't know. It could be the middle of the night.
Did you take the pocket watch thing
Yeah,
with you guys?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can find that button again, and if you press it, it transforms back into a pocket watch.
Oh, that's handy.
Okay, so I take one of the blood of all, one of the robes that Gronk had. Well, surely he had some other robe in amongst his clothes.
Yeah, he's got other clothes. They're all
So-
3 times too big for this individual, but it would be good enough for
Yeah,
just to cover him up.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Make sure it's got a hood, and, you know. He fit right in.
Yep.
That's how we roll.
All right. So
Don't worry.
We-
Just act casual. We'll be fine.
so we kind of unlock. I unlock the front door and kind of peer around to see if I see anybody.
Nope. It's as I mentioned before, the streets are much more quiet than usual.
So then we just leave and can head back to McCormick's Folly.
Okay.
All right. So you guys meet up with Anno or Elmorn and Peitri.
All right.
And Peitri donning his armor, and he looks over to you and says, "So, Flamekeeper Stenson was hanging about." Haha. And yeah, he just looks at you like as if it's like the most hilarious joke ever. And he looks at the weird robe dude and he says, "What's this?"
This is an ally.
Do you get it? And then I go to punch him, like to punch him in the shoulder. I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't punch our new friends, right?"
Right. There you go.
Right. Yeah. And I said, "All right, let's go."
So I see you have large jugs of water on you.
Yeah, we found Stenson in a bit of a predicament, and we helped him out, and he gave us all this rubbish. I mean, holy water.
What kind of predicament?
He was hanging from the roof by a rope or cord.
On purpose?
He's all right though. He's okay. He lived.
Was this on purpose?
Yeah, the bad guys did it. I mean, the blood key
What
people.
Peitri is trying to say is Flamekeeper Stenson wasn't committing suicide, Colmar. The blood of all cultists hung him themselves.
But they didn't do a very good job.
We're dealing with people like Gronkowski here, so no.
Well, we just came from his place, and he had dismembered people. So,
But did he do a good job of it?
well, enough to kill them.
Was he precise?
I mean, I don't know if precise is a word that I would use in any kind of vocabulary to describe Gronkowski.
Exactly.
So, what was anything done to the church?
Nothing. It was very dark.
They didn't steal anything or take anything?
Not that we know of. He didn't seem to know either.
Was he in his right mind?
I think so.
He was in a grateful state, seeing as how we saved his lives.
Yeah,
His
and
life.
I burned all my bloody first level spell point thingies.
He was grateful to say this has to be a first that you've gone to Flamekeeper Stenson and he's been grateful.
Yeah, well, we saved his life.
Usually just looks at you with disdain. I'm impressed.
Luckily, this encounter didn't involve any dead bodies.
Well, it was actually quite. Well, that's another story. Did he say what happened? Did he get? Was he knocked out, or they just come and took him, or what?
The only thing we know is they strung him up and left a suicide note to make it look like he had committed suicide.
He said it might be someone in the town which might have known of the body which we put in the chapel. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they might have thought it was him which did that. And then they came to finish him off. Or kill Flamekeeper Stenson.
So does he? So was this blood of all, or just I don't know, just spitballing like the son of the guy we killed?
It's got to be blood of Vol for sure. Yeah, definitely that one.
Well, there goes that whole Flamekeeper Stenson adopting him and taking care of him so he doesn't turn into some psychopath. So that goes that plan to shit. All right. Okay.
So we found we were able to find the details of Gronk's descent into badness, and also his secret passion for horribly butchering in a very disgusting way others. And I must say, I'm very glad he's dead and that we killed him. That bastard. But we found more out about him, and we have a pocket watch of gnomish origin. But other than that, what information can we now use to leverage what to do next?
Say that again.
I want to try to figure out our next course of action. So can we put something together from what your experience with Flamekeeper Stenson and your holy water, and perhaps some of these ceremonial robes, perhaps, so we can get back, figure out what to do next about these cultists.
So we're planning on opening different portals, right? In
Yes.
different areas.
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure our idea was to open at least 3 or 4 even, and then we're not sure where they lead, but then sending the forces through those different portals. But we're only sure that we can open one portal with the dagger. We're not exactly sure if we can do the blood ritual to open another, or all this other stuff.
That's correct. Hmm. Oh,
But we do have enough numbers to split our party. Now we have a new friend. He might be able to participate in the blood ritual as well.
Oh, I've got a surprise. I've got a special task for him.
Oh, very well. Does he say anything? This friend?
No.
No.
What about writing? Can he write?
We've already tried that. That's still some work in progress.
Too bad.
not as successful as either of us hoped.
No, but I reach into my pack and I pull out this like bloody cloth and say, "But I do have his heart." So
What? Peitri just shakes his head, just closes his eyes and looks the other way.
Shall we convene with Brevin and get our plans in order for our attack upon the lair?
Okay.
Sound idea.
So as you guys begin to head towards Brevin to discuss strategy and next steps, suddenly each and every one of you are overcome with a
God.
shock of such magnitude that it knocks you to your backs. And your bodies begin to convulse and shake, and your eyes roll back into the back of your heads as you begin to have a vision similar to the one that occurred when the fire gem was activated, only this time without the explosion. So this may be an aftershock or resonation from that initial magic, but suddenly you are back, at least in your mind's eye. Thank you. You're back in the cultists' demiplane, and you see the chaos all around you. This must have been only moments after you left, and you see the massive corpse, bubbling, smoking corpse of Gronk. And a familiar figure with alabaster skin walks over to him, the same figure that Peitri believed to be a vampire. And he kneels down next to Gronk, and just as Gronk is breathing his last breath, cuts open his wrist and pours it into Gronkowski's mouth.
Oh.
After a few moments, Gronkowski shudders and his wounds begin to close and his eyes become like blood red glowing out of his skull, and he just screams. The next thing you see is in the future. Very near future. There is a clock tower that is in the cultists' lair on this demiplane. And it looks to be about an hour to an hour and a half ahead of where you are. and you see the cultists have managed to lift the dragon shard into place, and about 24 of them kneel at the trench that was dug around this this large sort of gear structure with the gears turning, with the dragon shard, the large boulder dragon shard in place. And they each one of them in turn takes a ceremonial dagger and slits their throat into the trench. They willingly do this, killing themselves as a part of this sacrifice, and the blood begins to pulse and collect, and it rises through these gears, being pulled by the magic of individual dragon shards within the structure up towards the large boulder like kyber dragon shard. And once the blood reaches there, these droplets begin to orbit into rings, kind of crossing like an atom, like the classic view of an atom. And there is all the ambient light in this demiplane is drawn into the kyber dragon shard, causing a moment of darkness with a single pinpoint of light that then explodes out, and everything is immersed in this sort of grayness. All color is removed from everything. It's like looking at a black and white picture. And then you hear a roar and an earthquake. And then you wake up.
Well, there's a clock tower. We need to get in the Elatrix and get up to 88 miles an hour.
So it's a good thing you got 3 half-gallons of holy water, because we might need all 3 for Gronkuski.
Yeah, then we have the other vampire to deal with. The headhunter.
So, Peitri, are you certain this creature is a vampire?
Did you not just see what I saw?
Well, I see a lot of things, but... So what do we know? What do we know that...
God.
What do we know that injures vampires? Is that like common knowledge, or...
Elmorn's holy blade, holy water, and possibly water, but I didn't trust Father Stenson that much.
Well, Elmorn's blade is a little less than holy, as it deals necrotic damage.
His unholy blade, which would not work anymore. So let's think.
Might need some new weaponry.
Yeah, we might need an upgrade. We need radiant, kind of like holy light damage. Lights are pretty effective against them. Sunlight, yeah. What about that? Do they shimmer? Are they twilight vampires?
No, but I will say it was interesting that if these things are vampires, it appeared to be daylight in the demiplane. It had no effect on the vampire. Alleged vampire.
No, they're definitely vampires. So we must we need possibly silver. Silver's pretty useful. I know my paladin friends use them. Use silver. Silver's useful.
I thought vampires are quite rare. Do your paladin friends often encounter them?
A while ago they did. Not so much recently.
Well, Brevin is, he should know something. He should be able to give some sort of insight. I forget what he said about the vampire, but
Yeah, we'll go ask him.
yeah.
All right, so we bust down the door.
Get up and dust ourselves off. Head back.
So Brevin looks at you, seeing the kind of energy that you bring, and he says, "Good. Are you ready? Shall we begin?"
Yeah. What's your plan?
Well, we have collected our forces and we're ready to go. We just need to know how to access this place where the cultists are.
Whose dog is barking?
Mine.
Oh.
Next door neighbor's dog.
Oh.
Annoying. Yeah.
What do you know about vampires, Brevin?
Not much. I know that there were attempts to create vampires that could be used as kind of elite soldiers during the last war. But outside of that, I never heard about any success with that program.
Okay. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, one of these creatures is a vampire. Do you know of anything particular we need to use against them, or are they just sort of some hybrid?
Let's hope that there are no vampires where we're going.
Okay, that's a really shitty answer. But
Peitri says there's definitely vampires there, and he marches off to go find McCormick.
Vampires are very difficult to kill.
Okay, super.
We would need to not only either stake it in the heart or cut off its head, but we would also have to follow it to its lair to make sure that the job is finished.
I know where its lair is, Peitri yells out as he walks away.
Okay. So, anything? I've heard rumors of like silver and things like that. Is this just rumors?
No, there is some truth to the benefits of silver. Much of the power of these creatures is held in belief in symbols. And so silver is viewed as a purifying metal, an element that is opposite to the evil within the hearts of creatures such as that. And so because of it, weapons that are coated in silver or made of silver tend to be a bit more effective against vampires. But weapons alone are not going to take a vampire. Their strength and speed. I've heard stories that a whole battalion can fall to a single vampire.
Okay, good. I like that. That's good.
Do you have any weapons or armor that are silver in your barracks or your stores?
I know that McCormick keeps some silvered weapons as well as other more exotic materials. He was always a bit paranoid in that sense.
Nice. Good thing Peitri's already on his way.
How soon do you want to facilitate this attack?
Well, time is really of the essence. We were hoping that we could launch our assault by dawn.
Okay. How many hours is that?
probably about 6 hours from now.
Okay. All right. So you're not there. You left.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know if we have 6 hours, but that should be enough time. And I grab my buddy by the robe and say, "Come with me. Just tell us where to meet up."
I'm sorry, what?
So I grab my number 6 by the robe and ask Brevin where we need to meet him.
I was hoping that you would tell me. Once again, we're trying to figure out the best way to access the lair of the cultists. The only people that I know that have actually been there and come back are you four.
Okay. Well, let's meet up here an hour before dawn.
Okay.
Yes.
Ask Martha, how attached are you to this pocket watch?
I think it would be a fantastic trinket for Charles. However, I'm not overly fond of it. I could part with it if necessary. Why? Do you wish to sell it?
No, not particularly sell it, but if it has any worth, I probably wouldn't mind trading it for potentially some information.
Do your contacts a lot? Would they be interested in this kind of trade?
I'm sure there would be at least someone that would be interested in this item.
So just to make sure, the vision that you had for the future was taking place about an hour from now, at least on the clock.
Oh, okay. Super.
I'm sorry, I thought I made that.
Not yet. No.
I got it. I'm not there.
It snaps my head, and I remember that. I'm like, actually, Colmar, I don't know if we have that long. I inform Brevin of kind of the incident on the way over here and the vision that we had, detailing that this large blast goes off in an hour, this hour and a half's time.
Okay, well.
So wait a minute. How do you know that it's an hour from now?
The vision detailed a clock, a town clock, or a large town clock in their lair, and it was the hands were detailed an hour from the current time. So we have to hurry faster. How quick can you assemble your forces?
They're ready to go now, but are you sure it was for today, this vision?
I can imagine that it would be no other time due to our experience in the lair.
All right. Well, I will get my men ready. We should be about ready to go in about 15 minutes. You just need to tell us where we're going and how to get there.
Okay. I go and I pull Kumar aside and Elmorn, kind of, and so we can chat a little bit and say we try to formulate a plan real quick. So we need to get Peitri back here ASAP. So I don't think we don't have time to kill anymore.
Okay.
Can one of you would one of us I think needs to go retrieve Peitri. The others need to lead or at least point them in the right direction. The only people that I know of that can open the gates are myself and possibly Kolmar. What was the who has the dagger that allows us to see the gates?
Don't you do?
I have Bellick's dagger that opens it.
Oh.
I think Bellick's dagger is maybe both. Let me double check on that though.
I have the dagger, the cursed dagger, but I don't think we use that.
Okay. So I
yeah,
guess
because that was the dagger that stabbed Peitri.
Oh, well, then I've got
that
it.
intense reaction.
I've got it.
Let me bring this open real quick.
So what's the most highly explosive element in Eberron that we would have access to?
I mean, magic is typically used for large explosions, but there is the potential. I mean, you guys are just coming off of the last war with so many ways of like so much progress done in demolitions and things like that. So there is gunpowder.
Okay.
It's not widely used in terms of like guns or cannon. Well, some cannons, but just because of the wide suffusing of magic within society with magic as technology, it tends to be more efficient to utilize magic for those kinds of purposes. But you know, there is gunpowder, there are bombs and things like that.
Okay. So I asked Brevin, I need some gunpowder. A lot of it.
Okay. For what purpose?
Well, to blow some shit up.
All right. Well, we do have some stores of that. Also, McCormick, once again, being the paranoid bastard he is, I'm sure he has some in his armory.
Okay. Well, we can do a quick one-stop shop and stop over there on our way, because I would like at least, I don't know how much gunpowder, enough to make a big explosion. And I also tell them that I want the bucket of silver ball bearings that we have that we use on the on some of the machinery, and I can burn an action point if you want.
No need for that.
Okay. And then I tapped my friend on the shoulder and said, "You're going to get your revenge."
No.
So yeah, it is Bellick's dagger that's the one-stop shop. It can help you view these areas where barriers between realities or planes is weak and be able to pierce through them.
I see. All right, Kolmar, or Elmorn, you guys remember? So we can all swim by McCormick's, pick up Peitri as well as these other things. Do you guys remember the location of that we went to the first time?
I think I remember that. Yes. Perhaps
part of us can lead McCormick there, and then another half we can go lead to a separate gate to have it multiple fronts.
Okay.
I think we should avoid using the gate that we just came out of, though. I'm sure they have that nice and beefed up.
I agree.
Okay.
Do you guys mind if we take a quick break?
Yeah,
I have to pee.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Anna.
What's up?
I was saying a little bit earlier. I spent a part of this weekend. I got a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, I saw your thing. How you're blocking all ads now.
Yeah, I got a network-wide ad block. It's pretty awesome not seeing ads on my mobile phone.
It's pretty crazy. Aren't there like certain sites that won't even like show you stuff if you don't look at an ad?
Yeah, so this is sitting on the DNS level. So it does sites like they can tell in the browser. They can check the browser to see if you're blocking it. But this pops it before the router, so they don't even know.
Wow. I thought they always did like a check, but I guess that it's a check in the browser, huh?
Yeah, just like the browser doesn't register that it received anything, so it overrides that.
The browser doesn't even know that it has ads.
Yep. It's awesome. Dude, it took like half a day to work it and set it up, and that was mostly because I was trying to figure out how to SSH into the thing.
What about the people you do want to support?
You know.
Fuck them.
I mean, I don't want to see any ads.
No, it's pretty cool though. Is that all you're using it for?
Yeah, I got another one coming in the mail tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'm trying to figure out another project.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, you know, if it's like having something tangible to code on, and like to do something for you. And they're pretty cheap. You could like set up multiple like little servers and
yeah.
Like, I've seen people do like home surveillance like systems with them.
Yeah, it's like you get to see the outcome of your code like immediately. So it's cool.
Yeah. I think it's something I want to start doing more projects on, just because they're pretty cheap too, so it's not that big of a deal to.
They're just like a motherboard with everything on it, right?
They got a couple things. I mean, depends on which one you buy. Like the more expensive one, it's like 40-ish bucks. Has like a Ethernet, 4 USBs, an HDMI port.
Wait, how much does yours cost and what does it have?
It's like it was like $40. So like the chip itself was 40. And I had to buy a power adapter because it didn't come with one. Like the chip itself is not too bad. It's just like it kind of adds up because you if you want to get a case, if you don't have a power adapter laying around.
What'd you run? What OS are you running on it?
It just comes in its own. Like there's like a Raspbian or Raspbian.
Oh, Raspbian. That's the one you. Okay. I mean, I know you can put like basically any flavor of Linux on it.
Yeah, you can. You can put Ubuntu if you wanted to. But I got a smaller one coming tomorrow that has less features, and that costs like $35, like for a kit that's got the case, the power charger, the SD card, because the SD card is this hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So I mean, yeah, I just know you use them for like really small things usually.
Yeah. It's kind of cool though, because like, so it's blocking stuff, but it also creates a bunch of logs. So like every day, like it flushes the logs, but every day I can like pull the logs over and then turn that into a data set and like, use it for a project. I don't know, try to find out more information about what queries are actually being hit against my internet.
Yeah.
Rather than just kind of like top level information.
Be good for pirating.
Yeah. You can also see like if you ever got a different ISP, you could see like how they differ. It'd be kind of interesting. Because I bet there's some kind of stuff going on there with the ISP. Oh, they're selling your information. I'm guaranteed.
They are doing that. Yeah, that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Yep. Sadly.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like, I don't know who you have now, but I wonder if like Comcast is like way worse than something else,
Yeah, that's true.
Or if they're just like different flavors of evil.
I was thinking it would be kind of funny and like, I know it's more of like science fiction than anything, but like after like if you could do analysis on what's coming in, you can do a machine learning algorithm and try to figure out like who's bothering you the most or who's like the most egregious, and then you can write something like a cluster bomb and just like go DDoS those ad servers that won't leave you alone.
You could. There's probably a law case coming your way though.
I mean, yeah, probably, but it'd be kind of funny.
I've got a speech coming up for that kind of stuff. Do the disadvantages of modern surveillance technology outweigh its advantages? I've got like a whole bunch of crap to go. No, I'm fighting for like privacy is good and surveillance is bad. So the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. No, the other way around.
No, the other way around.
Yeah, I got confused because the way that it's worded is freaking confusing.
It's like based on what you just said, it's the opposite of what you said.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
Yeah.
And like that new law which you guys got come in, like the amendment or whatever, where they made you able to, or makes ISPs able to sell your data. That's just extreme. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's always been like small bits of that, but there hasn't been like an outright law which changes that. Like
I think it's
crazy.
like they don't need your consent anymore to sell certain stuff.
Yeah, before they didn't need it, but they found ways to get around it. Now it's just like nah. Like they've just bypassed that part.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll probably get to see some of that data.
America.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking
Surveillance
about?
state.
Capitalism.
Yay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. We ready to pick back up?
Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. So you guys are talking about what the plan is. So which gates were you guys going to go towards?
So, and of course, gentlemen, disagree with me as much as you wish. I think we should have a portion of us should go to the gate where we found the initial cultist, and I will go to the other and see if I can find the next gate or another gate using the dagger. And Colmar should probably go to the gate that we've been to before, since he's able to open it up. And I would go to this other gate because then I can open it.
Everyone give me an insight check.
A what check?
Insight.
12.
20.
Oh, that's pretty good.
20
16.
not 20 not natural.
Okay.
Same.
18.
All right. So pretty much everyone except Elmorn, which is interesting because Elmorn was the central character in this part. You guys remember that? I mean, especially given how time is of the essence. Even going at full speed with horses and everything, you probably wouldn't make it to that back door gate that you guys had been to for about an hour and a half, which would put you just in time for the cultists. If it is indeed, if the
Vision.
if your vision was true, and if it is an hour from now, an hour and a half from now, that would be too late to actually stop it.
You're talking about the one that we left from?
Right.
Yeah, we don't want to go there anyway. We were talking about the very first gate that we found because we saw a cultist go through it or whatever, and then I killed him.
Okay, so that's what the insight check was for, because I didn't know if that's the one you guys were talking about. Because that one is much closer.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
And there is a potential to find others that are close as that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can I slip on? Do I have to do any kind of channeling to get into that mode where I can see it? Can I just like slip it on really quick and see if I can see any like directions from here?
Yeah, it still requires you. It requires a great deal of effort to do that, but because you had, with the help of Elmorn and everyone else, because you accessed those powers before, it's a bit easier this time, but the strain is still pretty great. And you can see probably 2 other portals in addition to the one that you guys are speaking about with that you first were at, which you could all reach within the next 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. And they're in the same direction?
Generally, yeah.
Okay. Am I able to? Is there any kind of is there a sense of that's kind of where they are? Is there a sense of how close they are to each other from here?
Like how close they are to each other, or how close they are to where they would bring you?
How close they are, like from me? Do they all seem about the same distance?
Like, are they spaced like equidistant from each other? Do you mean?
No. Rather, like, can I tell if there are certain, if some of the gates are further away than the others?
Yeah.
And are they? Is it? Does it feel like? Do I know? Can I sense if it's a significant amount, or if it's just kind of that's the direction we'll head, and then we'll just go from there?
No, I mean with Bellic's dagger, you're able to see the portals pretty clearly, so you would be able to get, you know, their exact location.
Okay. So I shut off the portal vision to conserve energy, and kind of huffing and puffing, and I'm perspirating uncomfortably. I say, okay, let's all head to that same portal the original portal.
All of us?
Yeah, there's other portals nearby that one, so we all can head there, and then we can just go. We can have others go through the second portals when we get over there.
Okay.
All right, let's go collect Peitri. I'm sure he's worried, and also silver stuff. And just march off towards McCormick's Folly.
Alrighty. So, you guys collect Peitri. You fill Peitri in on the plan and everything. Peitri, what was it? You were going to the armory to get silver weapons. Was that what you were doing?
Yeah, I was actually going to go for McCormick and just like tell him that there was something bad coming, and that I was going to try and convince him to give us everything of worth, which would help us in a big battle. But that was before I knew that McCormick actually had this stuff, so I was going there winging it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have pretty free access to the armory because of your membership within the Adventurers Guild.
Okay, what kind of silver weaponry do we got going on?
You can get silver versions of whatever weapons you are most comfortable with using.
Okay. After my vision and all this speak of vampires, I'm a little wary of my necrotic halberd. Is it possible for me to just store it for retrieval later and pick up the silver halberd?
Well, okay, because Kolmar transferred the enchantment from the sword directly into your halberd, so it's not like a gem, like
No,
what Peitri has.
Correct. I can't just remove it.
You could store it on Blaze.
Okay. Yeah, and I could just call him, and he could just bring it to me if it turns out I could use it.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? I will take a silver halberd or glaive, whatever there happens to be, and I will store that on Blaze. If it turns out my necrotic halberd is useless, then I'll switch.
Are there any trinkets or anything which might help with slaying a vampire in here? And if there isn't, can I go find McCormick and ask if he's got any?
There isn't anything that looks like it would be particularly more or less effective against a vampire specifically.
Right.
But no, you cannot go and ask McCormick because McCormick has kind of been somewhat in hiding ever since his being, named and disfigured in that explosion.
I would also
Right.
say we're running out of time. You don't have time to go find him.
Uh,
This is
Very
all
well.
hurried. We're doing this all very rushed.
Alright. So I grab a silver longsword. Are there any like silver crossbow bolts? I'm gonna take a handful of them.
Sure.
I'm gonna go all out.
So you look like Van Helsing by the end of it.
I'm hoping so. Yeah, with all the holy water in my belt. Alright, good to go.
Alrighty. So you guys begin. Well, why don't you guys describe the formation of Brevin's troops? Because you guys are kind of leading it all. So,
Yep.
so you guys tell me what it all looks like as you guys are approaching the portals. Knowing that the moons are still bright and full in the night sky, and actually seem to be aligning somewhat into some kind of geometric shape. But that other than that, the landscape is clear and free of people.
Okay. Let's say the four of us alongside Brevin are at the head of the.
Okay. Yeah, whatever side Brevin's on, I'm on the opposite side.
Okay, Colmar's on the opposite side of Brevin. And that's, I don't know, how many men does Brevin have, Hawk?
He's got about 200.
Okay.
Cool. Nice.
So I'm obviously.
Including Stencil, the Warforged,
Oh, thank God.
the massive fist.
The fall over in the
Dawn
oil,
though is
dude.
still out of commission.
Okay. So I'd say Stencil and Brevin are leading the front with us, and I'm obviously towering over everyone on Blaze. And Egg rests upon Blaze's upon his snout, and he's just kind of looking out like this while we march along. Behind us are 200 brave Sentinel Marshals, and are they all Sentinel Marshals?
They are at this point. Whether they've been deputized in the last 10 minutes or not, we don't know, but they are.
Okay.
So Sentinel Marshals are a specific branch of House Dania.
Okay.
So most of them are members of that dragon-marked family.
Uh-huh.
However, there are some warriors of worth and note that can ascend to that rank without actually either bearing the dragon mark or having that family blood.
Okay.
Probably only about a quarter of them are actually Sentinel Marshals.
Okay.
The rest are more common foot soldier types, like standard infantry,
Okay.
some cavalry.
But there's a good chance that there's going to be some openings for Sentinel Marshals after this battle, and they're hoping that they can put that. It'll be a resume enhancer.
Okay. I say they are in 10 rows of 20, marching behind us in a big rectangle type fashion, and they leading these 200 men. Besides us, directly behind us are the Sentinel Marshals and more esteemed warriors. And further back, about halfway, is the archery unit, which takes up about half of this force we have. We're all marching in formation towards the location that we first encountered the portal.
I'm not marching in formation.
You're not? What are you doing?
I'm not a soldier. I see everybody lining up, and I purposefully just walk as fast as I please, ahead or behind the group.
Well, as the moons align, we can notice some of the less esteemed warriors, maybe those who are newer to combat, looking up and kind of nervously glancing at the oddness of the moons aligning.
Do the moons that are currently aligning? Do I recognize them in terms of like what these particular moons signify, like which planes?
No, you don't know that.
Okay.
That would be that's the level of like that kind of knowledge would be a research project at the Tower of the 12.
I see.
Yeah, that's pretty deep knowledge right there.
You didn't know that Marthau studied at the Tower of the 12 in his youth?
Yeah, that's right.
Also, another thing that you guys have missed, no, especially in Eberron where magic is so wide, no army goes anywhere without their war mages, and so there are war mages with you.
Well, I wouldn't know that, so somebody else take over.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing a good job.
I don't know about war mages, so someone else can take over from here.
No, you're doing well. I don't know. I know what Peitri would be doing. I wouldn't know what the army's doing. I'm probably looking for Seamus. I'm like, is he following us? Is he here?
Thankfully, Seamus is not there.
Good.
Seamus went back to Fort Deep Dark to help out with that whole mess.
I'll ask this then. Are war mages, can they take many forms, or are they the typical what you'd think of as like wizards, kind of like in robes and just kind of lightly armored, and or are there like battle mages that are like heavily armored that you could tell that they're magical? And
I mean, they do take many forms, and so any way that you would describe them is fine. I mean, a war mage can be anything from a seasoned wizard that uses their magic effectively to summon fireballs and meteor swarms, up to a warlock that continuously spams eldritch blasts, and even a simple like somebody that's able to use an eternal wand, which is a wand that never really runs out of charges. Somebody that can use wands to be able to create magical artillery of some sort.
okay, then I would say like interspersed between the front infantry units and the backline archery units, every pocket of soldiers seems to contain at least one or two, or maybe even three war mages, because they never know when they might need magic over here, over here, over here. So they're just kind of mixed in everywhere, and you can see some of them are very proudly carrying their wands and twirling them around very deftly, and others are just kind of like going like this, just making fire every once in a while, just kind of walking along. And there's an old man.
Maybe in rhythm to the drummer beat.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
All right, Colmar just looks back at this and goes, "We are so fucked."
Peitri remembers an old marching tune which he was taught in his youth, and he starts singing really loudly. But then he comes across a very large testy pop, and everyone starts laughing at him as he walks.
Comes across a large what?
Testy pop, like,
Oh, I've never heard
Yeah.
that term ever.
Oh, it must be an Australian thing. What's
Wait,
it called over there?
Like your voice cracking?
Yeah, we would just say
Yeah,
our
yeah,
voice
cracking.
cracked.
It's called a testy pop. Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was a
some-
piece of shit. That's what
I thought it was a plant or something. I was like, huh? What?
I thought it was some kind of
Yeah, we have
candy
testy
or
pops.
something.
Testy pop.
Okay.
Wow. Well, learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So once you approach the portals, there's no resistance or clear sign of anything happening. So what do you guys do to start activating the portals? Or what do you do once the portals are activated?
So before this, as I gaze at the large army that has assembled behind us, and kind of taking note at the fact that there's probably not a single necromancer among the bunch, so that's kind of disappointing. And I go over to Brevin and I said, "How many fucking clerics did you bring?" I count like 3.
We have some battle medics.
Some who?
Battle medics.
Okay. I work on the Elatrix. Explain that to me. What the hell are you talking about?
We have people who will provide whatever kind of healing or mending of wounds, treatment of wounds that we can.
Okay. And were they initiated this morning, or I mean, do we have any with experience or what?
Some. Why?
I don't know. We're about to enter a huge battle here, and I'd kind of like to know, what my support is if, I'm about dead.
We have a couple of clerics, and
Okay.
we have medics available.
Okay, good. My guess of 3 was an overestimate. Apparently 2. So I walk away.
Okay. There are probably actually a couple of necromancers within their ranks, simply for the fact that this is Karnath, and Karnath is not going to find an army or a unit without at least one necromancer.
Okay, well, they weren't off. They didn't make themselves obvious. So, but maybe we can chat afterward.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're not walking around with corpses or anything like that.
Yeah. Well.
They're going to use their ammunition once it becomes available.
You notice one with an undead bird that looks strangely familiar.
No, that bird's dead.
No.
All right. So, what you guys? How are you opening the first portal? With the blood ritual? With the dagger? What's happening?
Okay.
We should
So
probably.
yeah, first we got to split up, right? That was the plan.
I don't know. Is it best to split up this army, or just cut a hole and blow a hole in the gate and just bum rush the show? Lottie dottie, everybody.
I always thought the plan was to attack 2 fronts, but I'm okay with a full-on frontal assault.
Well, I'm not really sure where another. I mean, we can't get to
There's
the other
one-
gate, so.
There's one which is about half an hour away.
And we know that for sure.
Well, the gate that you're at, the other one is probably actually about 10 minutes.
Oh.
From that location.
Right. He was saying both gates were about half-hour away from Ironside, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, the gate was there was a couple right in the similar area. Can I sense how far? So I put put the strain back on. And do I sense how far any other gates are from this point now that we're closer?
So there's probably another one about 20 minutes away. The others would be too far.
So it looks like there's a gate about 20 minutes away. We can choose to storm all through this one, or we can split up and do the original plan.
Dustin, I think you missed the part where he said there was a gate 10 minutes away as well. 20 minutes away is another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, so there's three gates. The one that you guys are approaching, one that's 10 minutes away from that one, and one that's 20 minutes away from that one.
Gotcha. Okay, my bad.
No problem.
Well, the advantage of going through one gate is we can have a chance to maybe overwhelm them with a lot of force, but we could be running right into some kind of crossfire they have set up already. So that might be bad.
Like
the other.
Anyone
So
ever
the
seen
other,
The Rock?
if we open.
What'd you say?
Anyone ever seen The Rock?
The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson,
No.
yeah.
No, Sean Connery and Nick Cage.
No, I haven't seen it.
Nah.
You guys have
Seen The
not
Rock.
seen The Rock?
No.
Yeah, I've seen Dwayne Johnson. He's
No.
in WWE.
Is it Escape from Alcatraz or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
No, sorry. Yeah, we lost that one on you.
Okay, so Brevin's a seasoned military leader, right? We should ask him what he thinks the best plan is.
Brevin would definitely prefer to go through multiple access points, probably sending some of his best teams inside to try to secure them to allow as many troops as possible to go in.
Okay. So all three or just two?
All three.
Okay.
But how do we open the third? As far as we know, we can only open two at a time.
Well, I can use the ritual, open one. Marthal can cut the other one, open it, and then maybe you and Marthal are together, and he gets on Blaze, and you guys go down and open the next one.
I mean,
that works.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll all just wait around for 20 minutes and be like, all right, let's go in. well, the cultists look through the portal at us.
No. All right. So we obviously have to be able to send some sort of signal, like shoot a flare up in the air or something. Marthal, you got to shoot a firebolt or chromatic orb or whatever the hell you do. Shoot some kind of magical projectile into the air to let everyone else know we opened it. Charge. Let's go.
Okay. You can count on me.
All right. Okay. Fine. Whatever. Let's go. Okay. Brevin, give us 2 teams of your best men. We'll send half of them through one portal and the other half through the other portal.
Okay. So he signals for several of his best fighters, along with a couple of the war mages, Stencil being among them.
Is anyone mounted?
Yeah, there's some mounted. And yeah, so Brevin provides those troops, and they are at your disposal now.
Okay, so Komar, Peitri, you stay here with Brevin. Marthal,
Fuck.
hop on Blaze. Hop on Blaze, and we're going to the other portals. Yeah.
Oh, before you go,
What?
remember to meet up at that basement looking place.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys all want horses, you guys can be on horseback as well.
And then I smack your horse's ass.
And its fiery tail burns your hand. Actually, I never did clarify if his tail is fiery or not, but now it is, just for this.
No.
Just for this.
So the wind blows Martha's hair in just the perfect way. I mean, it's like he was made to be on.
Okay.
All right, so we're making it to the this second portal.
Okay, we went to the first portal. Martha ripped it open. He's like, wait here. Don't go in yet, guys. And we rushed to the next portal, taking the other half of Brevin's men with us, and rip open the next portal. Now what, Martha? I'll let you describe how you signal to everyone we're ready.
I just go the old-fashioned way, and I shoot 3 fireballs in there.
Okay. So 3 firebolts fly through the air, lighting the surrounding area like flares.
Yep. And then on that note.
Oh wait, Kolmar needs to do the blood ritual.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. All right.
So Kolmar, tell me what the blood ritual looks like.
Let's see. So I unbandaged my hand, which I had to cut earlier, and it's still bleeding a little bit. So, of course, I never have a blade with me, so I got to ask Peitri for some sort of sharp object to recut my hand again.
I go to grab the dagger. I'm like, oh, maybe not that one, and I give you my sword.
So yeah, and so I cut my hand and squeeze it, and then the blood starts to drip, and I let it drip on the ground. It starts to make a pool. I kneel on the ground. I start I start saying all the incantation, and the blood starts to move onto the ground into some sort of symbol. And then I reach my hand on it, and it's covered in the blood, and I just like put it to my face, and now the blood's all over my face. And then I start to draw some kind of symbol in the dirt, and then that's when like the portal starts to begins to appear. Like whatever I'm drawing on the ground, appears in the air.
Nice. All right. So these 3 portals are open. And so are any of you going in immediately?
I'm not one to shy away from charging into battle.
Well, I'll go in the Elmorn on Blaze as long as I'm behind. Martha's not the one to be first in the forefront, unless it was last time.
Peitri's not extremely interested in the main part of battle, so he's pretty much just planning on like cutting up some people and then sneaking away from the main and going straight to where he remembers the vampire being.
Can I roll an insight check to see if I can glean what Peitri's going to do?
Yeah.
That's not very hard. You can roll a 1, you'll know.
Total of 20. So do I have an idea that Petri's going to sneak away and try to kill the vampire?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, anything over 5 I would have allowed.
Okay, good.
Colmar, with the blood ritual, just to see if we can make this a little bit more interesting, give me a D100.
D100.
Ooh,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
92.
Seriously?
92, yeah. That's either really good or really bad.
No, I was thinking there were going to be 2 possible effects, and I was only going to have them happen either one of them was going to happen in the single digits, and one was going to happen in the 90s. And of course, you would roll.
Of course.
What happens?
So, the blood ritual that you remember, you don't just remember it correctly. Your knowledge of how arcane magic works, you're actually able to deduce some other aspects to this magic, to where you're not just opening a single portal. You can actually open the portal large enough to let a very significant number of individuals, probably almost an entire unit, could probably enter at once if you want to make it that big. Because normally these portals, probably 2 by 2.
Okay. Is this something I can consult Brevin with, or just I got to just do it?
You can consult if you want. You rolled well enough. It's that if you had rolled in the single digits, bad things would have happened.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll see. So I walk over to Brevin with my the blood palm print on my face and blood on my hand, and I'm like, hey, I can make this portal bigger. You can send more troops through. Or do you just want it just this size? Is this supposed to be some kind of sneak attack or something?
Based on your report, I don't think we have the luxury to be only using a sneak attack. We need to throw in overwhelming odds as quickly as possible.
Good. Well, I'm glad we didn't split up the force. I'll definitely make this bigger.
All right, so you make it bigger. So I know Elmorn and Martha are going in. I know Peitri is going in. Ostensibly, Colmar is going in and going to bitch smack Peitri.
Yeah, I'm following behind, keeping an eye on Peitri and bringing my buddy in. I'm going to put my buddy, going to make sure that it's obvious. I'm going to put the blood of Vol cloak on him and slap that mask on him. Hey, hell, he's dead. He don't care. Ain't gonna bother him.
All right. So, go ahead.
And let the soldiers know, this guy is on our team. You hit him, bad shit happens.
Okay. So, thankfully, all the portals that you guys accessed are not directly opening in the very heart of the demiplane, which would make it much more difficult to defend the portal and enter it and access it and everything. So you found 3 points on the various edges around the lair. As you go in, you can see a huge gathering in the center, and the atmosphere is near celebratory. People are getting fanatical in their chants and their cheering as the final boulder-sized Kyber dragon shard is being lifted into place. But as you guys are entering the portals, and especially as more and more numbers are pouring through, the cultists are seeing what's happening. They're recognizing it. You can hear alarms going off. People are beginning to shout, ring bells. What it sounds like a war gong or something is going off to signal that this camp is under attack. And the response is immediate and practiced. And I think that's gonna be a good stopping point for next time. And we're gonna jump into so much shit. Holy cow.
Oh God. Zombie vampire Gronk. Jesus.
Oh, you guys don't even know. So obviously I would like for the ceremony to go off so you guys can see what happens. But it is definitely a possibility for you guys to disrupt it enough that it doesn't happen. But yeah, it'll be exciting.
Okay, so I do have a question though. From the 3 places we came in, can we see each other at all, or are we all like completely different areas?
So you each have visibility on one. I would say that probably because you guys are kind of like a triangle almost. So and with how tightly packed everybody is in the center of town as this celebration is going on, at the points that are across from each other with this gathering in the middle, you can't see each other. But then at like the other vertices of the triangle, that portal can see both, and both can see that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The tip of the triangle. If it's
Right.
like this.
Yeah.
At this point. You can
Yeah.
see both. These two can't see each other.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say Elmorn and Marthau are at that vertex.
Okay.
And everybody else is at one of the other ones.
All right.
So, and then especially with this going to be like a large-scale battle, I don't have any interest in running it kind of like miniatures or wargamey type stuff where I'm rolling a lot of dice for a lot of things. I'm just going to allow it to be freeform, and I'll describe some things, and I'll allow you guys to have some freedom to describe some things, and how things and some outcomes, maybe with just rolling a d20 to see what happens, like level of success or whatever. But obviously, there's going to be an opportunity for you guys to fight the new and improved Gronk, as well as some other surprises.
Yeah.
Martha's not looking forward to encountering Gronk after last time. Hopefully Peitri keeps his armor on this time.
We'll see.
Yeah, we never can tell with Peitri.
I haven't got any more drugs on me, so it's going to be a bit difficult to find enough adrenaline to do that.
Do I need to like have stats for Blaze?
That's something we can definitely discuss. I think what it is it's just Blaze is considered like a typical warhorse.
Okay.
And then, so if you want to look through the monster manual, it's got some stats for war horses.
Yep, I just found it.
And it's also got some stats for other creatures. So if you wanted to kind of customize Blaze a little bit, we can definitely talk about that.
Okay.
And I'm fine with certain things.
Okay. I'll send you some emails then.
Yeah. And then also, if everybody wants to send me an email regarding some expectations they have for the battle up ahead, some thoughts about what might happen once, like, if this Eldritch machine actually gets activated, what you guys think might happen, and some strategies that you guys plan on utilizing.
Oh, strategies? My strategy was just to kill everybody.
Okay. That's a strategy.
Murder everyone.
That's a good one.
I got this tactics things down.
Well, if you guys think in tactics, like if that's something that interests you,
No,
let me
I'm just
know.
kidding.
I
you
do
have
as a
any
player,
ideas.
not as a character.
Well, as a think about it as a player too, because it might not necessarily be something Peitri would do normally, but this is also not
true.
necessarily a normal situation.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And also FYI, when I was rolling the story dice, I rolled a cane, I rolled some kind of gear mechanism, and I rolled Alfred from Batman. So that's why it was a butler
Nice.
Because I was like, how the hell am I going to use Alfred? Okay.
Nice. Good thinking.
So yeah. How's everybody feeling about the direction this game's going?
It's good. It's wild.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the battle.
Yep.
Yeah, we always wind up to like these huge scale kind of things. Like, it's just nuts.
Yeah, you got to have those season finales.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking
So,
for.
Oh my god.
what?
War horses are stupid as shit.
Yeah, but not Blaze.
No, not Blaze. It's like if your steed has an intelligence of 5 or less, its intelligence becomes 6 as for fine steed. Then I look at Warhorse and its intelligence is 2. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, most animals are 2 or a 3. I think jellies and oozes tend to be an intelligence of 1.
Makes sense. They don't have a brain.
Yeah.
They just run off instinct, and that's what intelligence is.
So
One, I guess.
Jellies and oozes are like the ACT. Like you just put their name on it, and you automatically get 1. Is that how it works?
You know what is something that's a little sad is some of the kids that I work with have taken the ACT, and they score like a 12. And my understanding is that just putting your name on it, you get like a 16.
What?
Yeah.
Like it should be ridiculously hard to get less than like a 15 or 16 on this. Like you have to be trying to get lower. Like
Wow.
there used to be a rumor that they gave a monkey the test and the monkey scored like a 16.
That's crazy.
Just randomly, they taught a monkey to randomly fill in bubbles.
Do you have to like write your name in a weird spot? Is that what the problem is? Like, is it halfway through the test you got to write your name or something?
I I
don't
don't know.
get
So yeah, Brennan. So there's in America there's these standardized tests like ACTs and SATs.
Hey, sorry. Just 1 second.
Yeah, and so they're kind of the thing that determines what kind of score you get determines where you go to college or where you can go to college.
Yeah, we got similar.
And so it's like these tests are out of 36. So it's just like
Out of 36. Is
Yeah.
that it?
well, don't say is that it because it's like there's a lot more than like 36 questions. It's just the way that
okay.
it's scored. It's
Right, fair
scored
enough.
based on like standard deviations or something like that.
Right.
And so yeah, there's like most colleges need like an 18 to 20. Better colleges are usually like high 20s, low 30s.
Shit.
It's just it's like
It's confusing.
I don't know. I just feel like how does somebody get that low? Anyways,
Anyways, I gotta head off. Yeah.
all right.
Gotta go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Hope your friend
gets better, man.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Good luck.
All right. I'll see you later. Bye.
Yep.
All right.
Already.
I have a test tomorrow night, so I'll probably be a little late to the game.
Okay.
I should be home in time, but I never know with these things. So.
Okay. No problem.
All right.
What are we doing tomorrow? I can't remember last week's session for the Monday game.
You guys were going into the diner, and I can't think of the name of it right now.
Oh yeah, that was when Solrent pulled off his epic grapple throw pew pew. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, some diner.
I should have it here. Yeah, the Angry Cactus Diner.
I love story dice.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with this?
Sweet. All right, guys. I'll
right.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Hey, Mike. Next week I'm gonna be traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go to Texas, so I touch down at like 7:45 your time. So right, yeah, because I'll be in Central Time. So I should be able to get back to the hotel and get set up by that time
Okay,
for the game. So if I'm running late, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get there.
that's fine.
fine.
That's cool that even when you're traveling, that you're trying to participate.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think I'll be able to run the game on Monday just because I don't know. I guess I'll find out from the Wi-Fi and all that shit Sunday. I'll know how good it is.
Yeah. Are you traveling for business, pleasure?
Yeah, my other job.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go to Fort Hood. I gotta hang out in Fort Hood, Texas for
Isn't
Sunday.
that where those shootings happened a couple years ago?
That happened like that happened I think 2010, right? Yeah, the Fort Hood gunman. And when it happened, I was in Iraq, and the division, the sergeant major, was from Fort Hood. I think his wife was there
Wow.
because he
It's
was
scary.
Yeah.
Especially if you're overseas fighting and then you hear about shit like that happening. It's like,
Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that, but since we're streaming live, I'm not going to talk about it.
oh, well, let me